Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. We are so excited to have you here tonight. As you guys are joining, and we are having more people join, which is wonderful. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. Let us know if you're on peptides, if you know what peptides are. A lot of people do not. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to cover some basics, and then we're going to be sharing some incredible stories, mine included, on how peptides truly have transformed and changed our lives. So, just to start off, if you're not sure what a peptide is, it's a very, very simple explanation, and people seem to, look at it as a big scary thing, and it's really not. Peptides are nothing more than a short chain of amino acids, you guys, okay? And a longer chain of them is nothing short of a protein. Our bodies already produce that. But the difference between where you trust something and where you don't is the sourcing and the quality. And so that is why we can come here tonight with confidence and telling you a little bit about what we have discovered and a really safe and healthy path to go. It has completely transformed so many people's lives. I started working with peptides and really diving into them last March, and they have done more for me than I ever thought was possible. And I'll explain why in just a second. So, what we're going to do is I will kind of tell you my peptide story, and I just knocked that out of the, hopefully, my battery will last. It's underneath my desk here. I'm going to tell you my peptide story, and then I have two beautiful ladies that are also going to share theirs, and we are just going to dive right into it. And I apologize. I have a new computer, and the zoom on it is a little wonky. It keeps tracking me, and I'm very close, and I'm really not. I'm actually scooted back a little ways. So if I'm like, feel a little obtrusive here, like it's or intrusive. Okay, so to tell you a little bit about my story, it's a long story, so I'm going to try to keep it short. It's emotional too, but I can kind of tell it now without crying. If you see me looking to my left, it's because I'm looking at my father's picture. And my story really starts with my father. Um, we were the best of friends, kindred spirits, and I mean that to the core of my being. I was very close with my dad, and yes, I'm talking in past tense because I did lose my father to cancer in October of 2024. Um, I just brought him back. He was a history buff, and I just brought him back from a trip that we had gone on to Gettysburg. We live in Pennsylvania, and I'm an hour south of Pittsburgh. So it was about a 3.5 hour trip. We would go every spring and every fall. And it was the fall of 2022, and he was complaining of his stomach hurting, and he didn't know what was wrong. My mom was kind of clued into it. She said, something's not right. His balance has been off. His memory's a little, and his stomach hurts. So they scheduled an endoscopy for him for whenever we got back. Got back on a Monday. Thursday was the endoscopy, and found a massive tumor in his stomach. And that was the beginning and the end for him, and a little bit of the beginning for things too. So in 2023, everything kind of hit the fan, right? He was going through chemotherapy, watching my father suffer the way that he did. And I'm sure a lot of us have been touched by cancer in one way or another. It's a horrible beast, and I hate it. And if you've seen somebody go through chemotherapy in and of itself is just a horrible experience to go through, let alone watching somebody that you love that, and you're a fixer. I'm very much a fixer. So I wanted to fix him and I couldn't. So that was happening at the very beginning. So by the spring, they decided they were going to do genetic testing to see if what was happening with him was in fact in, was it in the tumor? Was it located somewhere outside? Is it something that was going to affect his children? And so what they found was he was positive for something called the BRCA2 gene mutation. If you've ever heard of that, please tell me in the chat, because it actually affects a lot of people, more so than you realize. I have talked to so many people, both men and women, that have found out that they've had it since my diagnosis. So what does that mean? Well, number one, it was in his bloodstream. It wasn't in the tumor, which means it was in fact genetic, and it could affect his kids. There were four of us. 3 out of 4 of us tested positive. And so for a female, and we're all girls, it of course can affect males also, but for women, we are more susceptible to things like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, peritoneal, pancreatic cancer, melanoma. So of course, not all of those things could be taken off of me, but what as a woman can you have removed as a preventative? And it was suggested to me by my gynecologist with great urgency, Joey, you need to have a double mastectomy and a complete hysterectomy. Well, can I wait to do that? No, you needed to have it yesterday. He said, I've had so many patients come to me, where they waited and, they put it off, and then it ended up they would come back the following year and they would have cancer. And I'm like, okay. So I have 3 kids. I have 3 girls, watching my father suffer. And I'm going to, if you guys could I love all your voices. I'm going to put you on mute. Like if you see me put you on mute, it's not because I don't want to hear you. It's just, it's hard. It's hard to get every, you're trying to focus. It's fine. So anyhow, three girls, watching my father go through that. And I had my hysterectomy at the end of May. I had my double mastectomy in the fall of 2023. So, what does that do for you? Number one, I just told myself I didn't care. Like, the one thing that got me through this was eating. While I was eating, I wasn't thinking. And even before that, I started struggling with the hormone imbalance with perimenopause. And I really didn't even know what it was at the time. I was working out. I was working out at least 6 days a week. I'd wake up at 4:30. I would journal. I would put down every single thing I was putting in my mouth. And it worked for me for a while until it didn't. And I mean, nothing was changing. I wasn't, nothing. I mean, I felt good, but physically nothing was changing. Like looking at me, you would never know that I did those things. So when this happened with my father, I didn't work out anymore. I didn't care. It was just day to day. What could I get through? Plus, I was recovering from surgeries. And as a woman, if you have children, you look at your body, and I apologize if there are men on here, but I'm just saying, if your breasts, I fed my babies with my breasts, and they were no longer the same. Where I carried them for 9 months, that was gone, so it's very much of a mental struggle as it is a physical struggle. So I was dealing with the mental piece, I was dealing with the physical piece, and I was putting on weight and also watching my father struggle. So 2023 was a wash. If I were to race any year, it would definitely be that year. So we got through that, barely, but we did. 2024 came, and my father actually was doing pretty good. So in January, he had healed from a major surgery he had done in the fall. I was kind of healed up, and I saw him start to improve. So I thought, okay, I need to do something too. If he's going to get well, I'm going to get well. So a friend of mine had shared with me in the summer of 2024 that she was taking a GLP-1. She looked fantastic. I'm like, what are you doing? It's the, we all hear this story, but it's true. There's usually that one person we're like, what are you doing? So she told me, and I'm like, I want it. I need it. I need something. I need one little sense of myself again. I just need a piece of me whenever I look in the mirror because I was never overweight and I very much was overweight at that time. So I started taking the GLP-1. It was a GLP-1 GIP, which is equivalent to tirzepatide. So think Wegovy, Zepbound, okay? But super purified, all the good things. And it worked. And I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. Well, at the time, what I'm not mentioning is I had a business that was thriving before all of this. I made and sold resources for teachers for years, and I built a life that I never thought I would ever have. I grew up very humbly. We lived in a very, very small two-bedroom house in a little coal mining town, which my mom still lives in this house. I mean, I had four sisters in one bedroom. We had two bunk beds, one tiny little bathroom, and I'm good with it. Like I had the best childhood, and I'm so grateful that I had that because everything that I have, I appreciate. But I had lost pretty much all of the income that I had made over that period of time because I wasn't showing up on social media. I wasn't making resources for teachers. I wasn't promoting anything. I was quite literally just existing, trying very hard to get through the days. If I was on social media, it was asking for prayers for my father and sobbing. I mean, that was it for 2 years. So that's like death on social media. So I get through 2024 barely again because I lost my dad in October. But I knew that something was coming for me. I didn't know what it was. I knew that something really big was about to happen, that there was a shift. My father was such a man of service, you guys. I wish you could have all known him. He would have loved all of you. He was just that kind of guy. And I knew he was still with me and I could feel that. And I knew that there was a shift and I knew that I was going to do something to serve people. And I knew that it was health and wellness. The teacher, Joey, was no longer there. I was gone. That part of me was gone. I was no longer her. I'd gone through so much trauma over the last couple of years that I was different. I'm sure you can all relate to that. We have those moments in our life. And so LEMD ended up coming to my life through a friend of mine who's really big on social media. And she knew that I was taking a GLP-1. So long story short, kind of, I started diving into the world of peptides at that point. GLP-1 worked for me. My inflammation went down. My chronic joint pain went away. I was continually fatigued. I mean, to the point where I could not get out of bed. That was improving, but it wasn't gone. It wasn't gone until I included something called glutathione. It's an incredible cellular detox. It actually gets rid of the free radicals and oxidative stress at a cellular level. It's so powerful. If you've ever heard of an MTHFR gene mutation, maybe some of you here have it. If you do, please feel free to put that in the chat. The MTHFR gene mutation, you get out of a single or a double, okay? I have a double variant of it. And so for me, I cannot methylate. I can't get rid of any toxins in my body. So what that glutathione did for me was it completely washed out all the toxins that for years, now mind you, I was 42 at the time. I had been building all of that up. And so the constant fatigue, the joint pain, all of those things coupled with perimenopause, coupled with my overnight hormone shift into complete postmenopausal state. I mean, all of those things. For the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I can feel like. This is what I can feel like. And it was so liberating. And it just opened up my eyes because no doctor had ever told me that these things existed. And they don't tell you because they really don't know enough about it. So, no fault of their own. It's not something that medical school is teaching them. So, okay, well, what else can I take to feel better? This worked, right? The GLP-1 worked, and I was astounded. So, in comes BPC 157 TB 500. It is a mouthful, but it is amazing. It is called the Wolverine stack. That's for internal healing and repair, quite literally repairing you at the cellular level. So, tissues, ligaments, muscles, all those things. And then aches and pains in your joints as we get older, we all know that, that just happens with time. That was like my team, right? At the time. That was my team. That's what was big into play. Since then, if you guys saw my fridge, it's ridiculous because it really becomes this like I have to dip my toes into each of these waters to see what happens. And it is amazing. It's not a miracle. It's actually science. It's scientifically proven to work. So, of course, all of our bodies are different. Nothing is guaranteed. But I can tell you, I've been working consistently with people since last March. And the stories, the testimonies. I have a guy, he's 56 years old, and he messaged me one day. He said, Joey, this BPC, I cannot believe how good it works. He said, I have not been able to swing my golf club for years, and I finally can do it. I swear. I was just so excited. Usually I hear from women and I love women's testimonies because I have my own testimony and I know how they feel. But to hear from a guy, like that was kind of cool. I'm like, that is amazing. So he, of course, did the same thing. He's like, well, what's going to help with my cognition? I'm like, Solank and C-Max. We've got that. We've got methylene blue, like all these things, you're just so excited to share with people because you know the power behind them. It's not a fad and it's not a trend. They're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, in 5 years, it's projected that 70% of the population will be on peptides. It's truly a healthcare revolution. It's preventative and it's regenerative care. And so we right now live in the sick care system. If we get to the place where, and our founder lives by this, okay, her whole entire childhood, which I encourage you, if you go to lamd.com, scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a beautiful Iranian woman with glasses. There's a short video. Watch it. Do yourself a favor and watch it because she's the heartbeat of what we do. She's the heartbeat of the company. I know her personally now. And it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. Her mission, her childhood has all led to this and has affected all of us in such a beautiful way. So, with that being said, I have two other women that really need some time in the spotlight. And again, I'm so sorry. This camera, it's a new computer and it's like really far into you. It's very awkward for me. But anyhow, I have two amazing women, and Sherry Clark is going to be coming up next, and then Laurie Baroni. But with Sherry, I would love for you. Wait till you guys hear Sherry's story. It is unreal, unreal. So, Sherry, the floor is yours, my love.
Thank you. That was wonderful, Joy. Thank you for sharing with us. So I'm Sherry Clark. I live in Orange County, California. I just turned 63. I'm a flight attendant, been a flight attendant for 18 years, and I was a former roller skater. So if you think of ice skating, figure skating, not roller derby, but ice skater. I did that for 30 years. I loved it. It was such a blessing to do what you love. I did it 15 years competing and then 15 years professionally. So I traveled all over the world and I got paid for it, which was even more amazing. I would have done it for food money. So I was very healthy. And then at 48 years old, I unfortunately was wearing toxic material that I didn't know was toxic, and I was wearing it quite a bit. So in 2011, I woke up in Fairbanks, Alaska. I'll never forget it. And my one finger would not bend all the way down. And I thought, this is going to be a long journey. It's so funny how you just, your body. So down the journey I go. You start researching, and I thought, I think it's rheumatoid arthritis, but the blood work would not show it. In the meantime, I started doing acupuncture, different therapies. As a flight attendant, you work with your hands all the time and you're on your feet. And that's where my joints really hurt. So finally, a few years later, I go to a different rheumatologist. We start all over again, and it shows up. I have RA. So I tried a medicine for 2 years. It wasn't strong enough. In the meantime, I'm doing all these therapies. Then I was like, can I try this one prescriptive drug? And he said, sure. So I had to inject it twice a month, the AutoPen. And that was a whole thing for me, but it was fine. But that I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? So it was fine. And it worked. My joints were feeling so much better. I was so grateful. But almost immediately, every time I ate, and I am not an eater. So I'm one of the few people, it's not my issue. I need to eat more. I would bloat up. And I mean, literally, like if you ate Thanksgiving dinner, I could just have some chicken and rice, and I had to undo my pants. It was so bad. So to give you an idea, the worst for me, I remember I weighed in the morning and I didn't weigh very often because I just kept gaining. And I was eating the same. I didn't know what was happening, but I had some pistachios. So just a handful, just a little bit, and a dill pickle. Not even the whole pickle, just the spear. And I just felt myself just blow up. And I went back and weighed like 20 minutes later, I was 3 pounds heavier. So I couldn't figure out what to do. So then I started doing, I have my notes because I did so many things. I did acupuncture, chiropractor, quantum neurology, lymphatic drainage massages. I've done those twice a month for almost 14 years, $300 a month because I have autoimmune. So I'm trying to get the toxins out. I did red light therapy, stem cells. I did that year before last. That was $6,500. Just two little CCs. That didn't work for me. Handheld frequency devices. I did PMF mats, patches. I've done had 6 natural paths. I went to every doctor specialist, heart, lung, kidney, gastroenterologist, just on, and nothing was working. And I'm very happy and outgoing person, but I was getting like, is this it? I just, what am I going to do? I was so sad. And I was praying and I got what I felt like was a God incident. So I was going to my hairstylist and another hairstylist. He had had back surgery and he was telling me about a peptide called BPC 157 TB 500. And I'm like, what's that? Never heard of it. So, of course, I start researching. Well, the beautiful part for me, it helps with the gut lining. So I finally figured out with your gut, there's your gut lining and its junctions are in front of it. Mine were open. So literally when I would eat, everything would go right in my bloodstream. And that's why people, I think they thought I was crazy because I said, I can feel myself expanding as we're having lunch together. But that's what was happening. So I wanted to get on the tirzepatide. Something was calling me for that, but I knew I had to stop the source of it. So I think of an analogy if you come in your house and it's wet everywhere, so you start mopping. Well, the next day you come in and it's all wet again. You start mopping. I had to seal the gut lining, the junctions. So I started on the BPC. So it takes a little while. So I did that 90 days, but by the second month, I was like, I'm not bloating as bad because I had gained you guys 46 pounds. And for a woman, especially, I'm sorry, Orange County, California, we're a little vain. And I wasn't eating my way there. So I went from a size 4 to a 12. I was 128 to 174, and I could not reverse it. I even did, I did fasting, a 3-day water fast, and then I did a 5-day. And I would lose a few pounds, but gain right back as soon as I ate. So then after the 90 days, I went on the tirzepatide. And so now it's been 6.5 months and I've lost 23 pounds and a lot of inches. And for me, that's like 50 pounds. So I still have 21 pounds to go, but I'm on the right path. And I'm just so grateful because, like the Bible says, without hope, people perish. And I didn't have any hope. I had tried so many things and so many doctors. So I'm very passionate about sharing it. And I have to say, with LEMD, what I love is the education, because with education, knowledge is power. So you can learn as much as you want. And, doctors are wonderful, but they stay in their lane and they don't say, you know what? I did so many different, even what is it, colonoscopy and endoscopies. I mean, I did it all, and no one ever said you might want to look outside. So I'm very, very grateful for LEMD and the peptides, and there's so many more. So it doesn't have to be just about losing weight.
Oh,
So
Sherry, your story blows me away. So, something that people don't know about Sherry and I, Sherry followed me on social media for a very, very long time, right? Sherry, before she
yes,
actually reached out about this, which was so
yes.
funny because I didn't know. I mean, she had followed me through various seasons on social media. And when we really connected, I think was I at the airport? I think
No,
no? Are you sure? Because I
when we
remember
first
talking
talked,
to,
when we first talked to me,
yeah.
I was at a hotel because I had just flown in,
Okay. See, I feel
but
like
you
that
had
was
just got back from your trip.
okay, but I think the first time either we messaged, I don't know. I don't know. It was
Okay,
like serendipitous because
yeah,
she's a stewardess and I was like, okay. But I loved her and I loved her story and I felt so bad for her. So I was like praying, like, please, please, please let this help her because I couldn't imagine. I know how upsetting, especially for a woman, when you're trying, you're really trying, you're putting forth the effort and you're not seeing anything. You just know your body. And that's another thing. I feel like as we age, and I know this because I've experienced this myself, my doctor was just like, this is just the way that it is now. No, you don't have to settle for that. You don't. I have
right.
so many testimonies that are able to prove otherwise, and you're one of them. You look amazing, Sherry.
Thank you. And I want to add real quick, I forgot, I just saw my rheumatologist a few days ago and he told me I was glowing. And I said, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And because I'm so happy, I finally feel better.
You look
And he's like,
great.
"Thank you." He goes, "What are you doing?" And he looked up the website. So I was like, kudos to you. And then
See,
I just had my lymphatic massage today, and she's like, "Your circulation is so much better. I can tell your tissue, it's more supple." I was like, "Oh, thank you." I know it, but it's just nice to hear from a professional,
well,
you
and
know.
it's so interesting. A lot of people that I work with, you included, we are going to our doctors, they're asking us questions and we end up educating them a little bit. We're not doctors, but we do
Right.
have the capability of learning and we have learned so much. And Sherry's right, the company that we're with, it really, really poises itself with education, right? So every Thursday there's an educational series for the men. I mean, men can tune in Wednesday or Thursday, but there's specifically a men's series. Roger, I see you on there. I don't know if there's any other guys, but it's a really great way to come on, listen to doctors, specialists, gurus within the field that really give you the ins and outs. And I can even drop that link for the educational series in the chat, and you guys can check that out whenever you have time. All right, thank you, Sherry. And
You're
our
welcome.
next and final guest is Miss Lori Baroni. And Lori and I just met a couple, 2, 3 weeks ago, and I cannot wait for her to talk. She is from Texas, and she and her husband are wildfires, you guys. They crack me up. So, Lori, I don't know where your husband's at tonight, but I feel like he should be your sidekick.
I agree. Actually, we have a floor that is needing to be replaced, and we're doing it ourselves. So
Oh, well, kudos to
it's,
you. So this is,
yeah,
you know what, this is a really good reason to get away.
I know.
Oh, well,
So if
listen,
you're banging on the floor, just excuse it.
it's
It's just
great.
him.
It's great. It's fine. All right, well, I'm going to give the floor to you, Lori.
Okay, well, hi everyone. Oh my gosh, my name is Lori Baroni, and there are two of my men friends here. There's Ice and Joey Kendrick. It's the other Joey. So, hello. Anyway, I'm in Montgomery, Texas, and it's just right outside of Houston. And I'm sorry I'm sounding a little raspy. I'm trying to get over whatever it is that I've kind of got. But anyway, I have been an entrepreneur since 1993 when I first had my firstborn son. I actually decided at that time, I was like, I want to stay home. I want to stay home with him. And back then, I owned a pre-employment screening company. We did background checks as a licensed private investigator, and I managed about 20 staff members. But my husband, Greg, and we made a decision that we wanted to focus on businesses that were fundamentally about, just helping people. And by the way, Greg and I have been together for 40 years. Actually, we dated 5 years, married 35. So another big reason we chose this path is because we wanted to be home raising our family. We have 5 children in 6 years, and our last two were twins.
Oh my gosh, I just had to unmute for that one. Are you kidding me?
I know.
God
So
bless you.
life was definitely busy and chaotic for a while. And at the time, it felt overwhelming. But now, they're all grown, having kids of their own. We have 7 grandchildren with one more on the way. So 4 boys are from my son Dante, and then 4 girls are from my daughter Larissa. Over the years, I mean, I tell you, it was tough, but I struggled mostly with weight. I struggled with menopause. I struggled with hormones and stress. And honestly, I I just, my body didn't feel like it was when I was younger before kids. So and I want to say this because I know so many women can relate. I tried everything. And not because I lacked discipline, but because I was genuinely doing the work. No matter what I did or how hard I worked out, the weight just wouldn't come off. And I used to joke, and I must have, just I was working out on all my muscles and they just weren't showing up and they weren't popping. And I was like, what is going on? But underneath that joke, it was frustrating. And I was so frustrated. And I was constantly stressed and had a short fuse, poor Greg, and low energy, high inflammation. I mean, I was always searching for answers. And I tried everything. I did Weight Watchers, South Beach, low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, and literally every diet you can think of. And it just, gosh, it seemed like the harder I worked out, the less results I got. Then one day I noticed a girlfriend of mine had lost a lot of weight. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she said, have you ever heard of peptides? And honestly, I've never heard the word before. I didn't know what it was. I felt like my doctor really didn't know how much, about it either because peptides aren't a traditional medication, right? They're just chains of amino acids that send signals to your body to help them function better. But when I first got introduced to peptides, I had that friend helping me with the GLP, and that part was great. But when I wanted to try other peptides, I realized, gosh, there's almost no guidance. So we were trying to figure everything out ourselves. And it was like, how do we dose? How do we reconstitute? Where do we buy from? How much do you take? I mean, it was scary. So we were watching random videos and honestly just fumbled our way through it. And it was extremely stressful. And like I said, so scary because I didn't feel confident I was doing things correctly. But despite all of that, they did work. And my husband and I both started seeing incredible results. Like Greg lost 60 pounds in 8 months, and I lost 30 pounds in just a few months. And before, I mean, I couldn't lose 8 pounds in a year. So then we shared peptides with a friend, Katie, she's on here. She later came back and told us about a company that took all the guesswork out of it and no figuring out. I mean, how much to reconstitute, how much to dose, I mean, where we needed to buy from, whether it was a trustworthy or a reputable resource. We just, it was like, gosh, when we looked at the company, we immediately thought, wow, if we had had this when we started our peptide journey, it would have saved us so much stress. So we got involved. And I'm really glad we did because I also started learning a lot more about, different peptides beyond just weight loss. And I have a lot of friends on here that are dancers, but I absolutely love to dance. I love country western dancing, two-step and polka. Two of my favorite dancers are on there. Like I said, Ice and Joey. Latin dancing. There's like salsa, cumbia, bachata, merengue, and my all-time favorite ballroom dancing. Cha-cha, rumba, waltz, swing, hustle, tango, you name it. I love it. And I go 3 or 4 nights a week for hours at a time. In fact, I'm going tonight. But that's really my form of exercise. But physically, my body has been through a lot. I mean, should I say my age? I'm 58 years old.
You are stunning. I'm just saying, like, seriously, you're a beautiful, both you and Sherry.
And,
Gold.
Thank you.
and she's a baby at 58.
Oh,
I don't know about that at 58. My mom is on here. She is 87 and she is on here too.
where is mom? We need her video on because I bet
Well,
she looks
she
amazing.
said, she said, I am cooking and she's doing sausages. So she was like, I cannot show my face.
That would be my mom too. I get it. I get it.
So
But
anyway,
you have a beautiful daughter.
Thanks. So I need an ankle replacement, and I have an ankle that's covered in calcium and arthritis and inflammation, and it's literally bone on bone. And I've dislocated my shoulder at least a dozen times since I was a teenager. And I have chronic back pain. I mean, probably from having 5 kids in 6 years, right? So inflammation and pain have been just a major part of my life. And I started taking BPC 157 and TB 500, and as Joey called it, was is a Wolverine stack. And it's helped relieve so many and so much of my pain and inflammation in my body. Because normally after dancing, my ankle would be swollen. And I'm telling you, it's huge. And by the end of the night, it's crazy. I can barely even get my shoe off. But now when I take my dose, the inflammation stays under control. My ankle stays, close to normal size. And it's just been life-changing for me. And I also tried another peptide. You want to say hi, Greg? He's busy working. Anyway, I also tried another peptide called MOTS-c. And honestly, I call it energy in a bottle. Because before that, I was always exhausted all of the time. And every single day, I would hit this wall. I mean, like, boom, where I physically just had to lay down and take a nap for 30 minutes because the fatigue was so overwhelming. And it wasn't like I wanted a nap. I mean, I literally couldn't push through it. But once I started taking MOTS-c, it was a complete game changer for me. I don't need naps anymore. Now, it doesn't say that, in the car, if I'm in the car and I'm just sitting there, I'm out. But my energy's through the roof. And honestly, my own kids can't even keep up with me now, especially my girls. I don't know if they're on here or not, but Lexi and Larissa literally can't keep up with me. But my kids and my friends ask me all the time, where do you get all this energy from? And for the first time, right, Mindy? I know she's asked me that quite a bit. She's on here. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like myself again. And we've all, gosh, I have been involved with this company for, I guess, about a month, and already we have 4 brand partners. And we truly believe this is going to grow into something very, very special. And what excites me the most, oh my gosh, it excites me the most is it aligns perfectly with our mission of building businesses that genuinely help people. So I honestly wish I had access to this, when we first started learning about peptides. And I've just been incredibly blessed by the support we received from Ellie and people inside Ellie. And one of those is Sherry, who, you heard from. And the other one is Joey, who, opened up the Zoom call. So thank you guys so much. And thank you for all my friends that are here supporting me.
Yes, yes, yes. We are so grateful. Thank you so much, Lori, for sharing that. You had a lot to say. She was a little nervous. She's like, "What? I don't know what's going to happen." I'm like, "You're going to do fine. It's your personality. Like you have so much to offer. We're so glad you're here with us. You guys, whoever invited you here, please make sure you go back and talk to them because what we do as brand partners, we just listen to you. Who doesn't want to be listened to? You just let us know your health and wellness goals, and we can certainly guide you. On that. If you have any, anxiety about it, because that's normal. That's completely normal. There are people that, they don't like the idea of the injection, and that's okay. That's okay. We have oral GLPs, but I will say the bioavailability, when you're putting anything in your mouth, that does decrease just because of your digestive system. And it's okay. Like if that works for you, awesome. That's amazing. But I will say the injectable is probably the best just because you get 100% of what you are putting into your body. It goes right into your bloodstream and gets to work, and you don't lose any of that with the digestive process. With LAMD, how it works is let's say you go to Lori and you really want to try the Wolverine stack, and she would send you a link. You fill out a health intake form. We have board certified doctors. These are MDs and DOs in all 50 states. You guys are not just practitioners. They look over your health form. They determine whether or not you're a good candidate, and they don't accept everybody, which I have great respect for. It's not a company that just takes your money and runs. It's really, really analyzed, looked at, and whatever is best for you is what they're going to do. Okay. If you are approved, you get a text message and email saying, yes, we are putting it through. They send the script. We have a 503A compounding pharmacy. That's really important because it's FDA compliant, meaning everything that they do at that pharmacy is tippy top, the best of the best, triple filtered, third party tested, constantly under supervision. And it is made specifically for you. Nothing is mass produced. Nothing. It's all pharmaceutical grade, and then it's shipped right to your door. And the way that they ship it is really cool too now because they have the reusable water bottles. And I always mean to bring one on my Zooms and I always forget. So I thought that that was pretty cool. And if you get more than one peptide, you're like, what am I going to do with all these water bottles? Our founder said, pass them out, give them to people because she believes so much in peptides and what they're doing for people. And it's true. I can attest to it myself. It's a powerful place to be. And I'm so grateful that we are in this space. And we are also so grateful for every single one of you. Truly, truly, truly. We had a wonderful turnout tonight. I know that Sherry and Lori are very happy to see their friends here. I'm happy to see all of you here. And so, with that, please reach out to one of them, whoever sent you. They loved you, and we look forward to helping you. All right, guys, I'm going to stop recording.